Welcome back to FBU Radio. I love saying that. That's the first time I've done it, but I'm vindicated in my choice of name. It rolls off the tongue.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I know. Good. This is Stu. I say hi, Stu.
Hi. Hello.
Stu's going to be quite an interesting chat because obviously he works within the company. Stu is our closer / salesperson. I don't like using the word closer. Really,
It's always a bit weird. It makes you sound a bit scummy, doesn't it?
I know. Dickhead. You're just the one that takes people's money.
That is literally it, yeah.
Or at least that's what people have you think. But you've actually got like a much more extensive background in the fitness industry than just sales.
Yeah.
You've pretty much done everything.
Yeah, I was talking to someone the other day about what, because they asked about my background, and I was like, I don't know if we've got time for this, like, but I've done literally everything, like, that you can imagine.
So go on, take us through the start of the journey. So what was the first kind of step, or what got you into the fitness industry to start with?
To be honest, a lot of it was I only stayed on at sixth form because like my mates were. I didn't want to go to uni. Like my mum was trying to push me into like you should go in the RAF or go in the police because they're like safe things to do.
Not in Liverpool, it's not.
Well, yeah, safe jobs in the sense that you had a wage back then, but it was because we like, you know, single parent home and all that kind of stuff. So money was tight. So it was a case of where's the best place to go and to get money. I just didn't want to do anything. So I just dicked about in sixth form and liked going to the gym and realized that when you lost a little bit of weight and started to look better, like girls paid attention and you felt better. So that was the only reason why I went. And then I remember being in one of the gyms and I realized that people were exchanging money for training. So I was like, all right then, I can do that. I go to the gym anyway, so I might as well get paid for it. And that's where it started. I got a job in a gym when I was 18. I then left about 4 weeks later because I realized that you can't just put a top on that says PT on it and people give you 30 quid an hour. You've actually got to, you know, speak to people and try and get clients. So I was out of it for a little bit. Just usual jobs. I worked in a cost there, did admin jobs and whatever else. And then I just applied for a job in a pure gym that was like near enough an hour away from me. And then 9 months later, I opened up my own gym.
Really?
Because I didn't like them. Well, the manager sacked me because I sent an email out to me. So I was emailing my list before it was cool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this was 10 years. Well, yeah, 10 years ago. And I'd done some email and the manager apparently read my email and apparently I was being derogatory towards the gym. I don't know how even that's possible, but they tried to sack me. Got my job back 24 hours later, but I was like, nah, bollocks, I'll just open my own gym. So I got a credit card out with one of the guys who's actually on the course now. We were working together and we just said, sod it, we'll open up a gym on a credit card. Years later, I decided, I woke up one morning at 4 a.m. I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. So I just walked away from it. Just said that there's the keys, it's your gym now, I'll see you later. And went online. And that's where OFB and you were in there and things like that. I did all right with online. It wasn't the GRT type heights and all that kind of stuff, but I was doing well. I had a good handful of clients, sort of like 25, 30 clients at a good price point. And then I just fell out of love with coaching. It was like, I liked everything up until the point of actually having to coach them. So the content, the sales process, everything, I'd get the thrill from the sale and like the chase. But then it'd be like, I've got to write meal plans now.
Yeah.
I don't even want to coach them. I don't want to coach anybody. But clients wouldn't leave me for whatever reason. So like a year in, 2 years in, 3 years in, I still had clients and they were still paying me good money and I felt like a fraud. So a bunch of other things happened and I ended up back at the gym I worked in when I was 18 again. I just had a bit of a meltdown with it all, walked away from it again. And I was like, I need to do something. I don't want to get another job, so I'll have to go and PT. And that's where I was like, I've got to find something else. I hate coaching. This is depressing, turning up to the gym, wiping down machines, doing my shifts in a bright yellow hoodie and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, I just can't do it anymore. And I just saw someone posting inside of a group. So Dan Meredith's group, who's going to be speaking at the event, Coffee with Dan. Can anyone do sales calls for fitness product? And I was like, don't know. Yeah, me, I'll do them. And it was 25 quid a pop on commissions. Like, and I thought, you know what? I'll probably get more of them in than I will PT sessions because I can't be arsed. And I very quickly got a second client and I very quickly got a third client. And I was just in the gym, in the staff room doing sales calls when I was supposed to be on shift. So I thought I could actually turn this into something. So, but the only way I could have done that is if I got guaranteed income.
Yeah.
So all three of my clients, I said, listen, basically I might stop doing this next week unless you give me a retainer plus the commission. And I think I asked for about 200 quid a month because that's how much the mortgage was.
Yeah,
and
for
the
sure.
food
Yeah,
bills
you didn't do
you know
anything
what I mean?
stupid.
It was
You just covered your bills.
And they were like, no, yeah, let's do it. And then one of them offered me more than that. He was like, well, can you prioritize me? And I was like, for 500 quid a month, I can't.
I'm that guy, you know. I do it at United as well. Like we have the car park I use at United. I slip them an extra fiver so I can get the spot at the front.
Get the good spot. It's worth it though. Like I'm a big believer in that. If it's worth, my missus isn't. She'd rather do everything cheaper. But if I can pay an extra 20 quid for something or whatever, an extra fiver, I'll do it because it means it's easier. Like convenience is way better than not having it. But anyway, so yeah, I got a couple of those people in and I realised that people would be willing to give me £500 a month and 25% commission on whatever it was that they were doing. So I was like, sod it, I do sales now. I walked out of the gym, that was it, just started sales. And because I was, from what I saw anyway, I was the only person offering it.
Yeah.
I didn't notice anybody else doing it, especially not in the UK, and especially not for online coaches or gyms. So I was like, I'm just going to network as much as possible.
Yeah,
my name kept getting passed around to people, and I was getting more and more people who wanted it. So I was having to up my prices, but I couldn't fulfill all of it because I can't sell for 5 people.
Yeah, for sure.
Imagine if I said to you, I've got 3 other people I'm selling for, sorry.
Yeah.
You'd be like,
well,
no,
you just
away.
have massive conflicts.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you'd be like, well, I'll find someone else then. So I had to start bringing people in, and over time we built the agency up, etc., etc. And through COVID, it was just like life-changing money was coming at that point because everybody needed me or my team to sell for them. And I got hooked in with a shiny object of mentoring because people were asking me, can you help me, grow my, did you do more than sales? And I was like, I bet
my head's going now, but that's coaching. And you said you didn't want to do it.
Yeah, I know. And I was like, you know what? I bet you I could because I understand content and I understand part. You know what? Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
How much is it? It's £99 for 30 days. I just threw something out there. So I did the sales sprint. So a lot of the people, well, not a lot. There's a few people who are in this now that did my sprint ages ago. Do you know what I mean? And then it just developed over time. I was in mentoring. I had loads of clients. I was doing all these things. And that's when obviously we'd have a back and forth about mentoring and what we were doing. And I noticed there was other programs doing bigger things and hearing about things that like you were doing, for example, and yada, yada, yada. I was like, I'm going to have to make a decision at some point. I'm either all in on mentoring or I'm going to have to compete with the big boys who are growing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm that person. I don't know if I'm the guy to have the sort of capabilities to drive a huge company because it was going to have to be looking at the way it is now. You can't just be, I mean, you can, but you become limited.
Yeah, you do. And you run out of room for progression, don't you?
Yeah.
If you're one of those people that likes to move forward.
Yeah.
Eventually you get to that point where you're like, well, I can't move forward anymore on my own. It's just whether you want the smoke.
It's whether you want the smoke. You're going to have to build a team. You're going to have to do this. You're going to have to build, progress. And do you want that? Like looking at this operation, nope, no thanks. Like I wouldn't be the one to lead, to be the figurehead at the top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To be fair, if you told me this 2 years ago, I'd have probably said no as well. It just kind of happened.
Fair enough. But I was just like, I'm going to have to make a decision. And then I got involved with a partnership, which I probably never should have got involved in because there was red flags from the start.
I thought that was a weird partnership, to be honest.
Yeah, because you'd messaged me.
I didn't say it, but like my head was like,
why?
The value. No, it's just there wasn't anything wrong with it. It was the values aligned with it. A lot of the content that was coming out of what you were doing, I was like, hang on a minute, isn't Stu in sales? Yeah. I'm like, that sounds like they hate sales though. Or like it was very kind of put in that way.
So it was muddy in the water and I was having constant battles like in my own brain about like certain things. And and I remember you reached out to me and asked me a few things about doing certain things. And I was like, I'm doing this though. I was like, that would be sick, but I've just put a load of energy and effort and some money into it. I'm going to have like sunk cost fallacy. I'm going to have to try it on this side of things.
I want to kind of see it through.
I've got to now. Like I've committed. And then time went by. Another episode of me just walking away. I just went, I can't.
You're worrying me now, you know?
No. So, but that was the thing. So I walked away from that and I tried a couple of other bits, but it always draw me back to selling. It just, every time my brain, and I kept having conversations with Naomi, it's just over and over and over again, over and over and over. And she was like, well, why don't you just sell then? Why don't you just build the agency up and sell again like you do in me? I did at this point. And you know, the whole story of that year was my money was running out like at a very fast rate. I had about 4 or 5 months at that point, and I was like, yeah, you know what, I think I'm gonna have to, but I really want to push copywriting.
Yeah.
Great idea, you know, push copywriting, and I started getting clients on it, you know, and I know I was doing decent with that, but I knew if I just switched on sales, I'll be fine straight away, and I'm actually passionate about selling, like, and what sales does for people. And then that's when I ended up voice noting you, messaging you, and I was like, how often could I message him before he either tells me to piss off or gives me a job?
Pretty sure you messaged me like the day after we took on our first salesperson as well.
It was, yeah.
I was like, you've literally missed the boat by like 24 hours.
Yeah, I was stood outside Starbucks. I'd just finished writing like emails and doing whatever I was doing. Like, I was like, you know what, bollocks to this. If I don't message him now or do something, then all you can say is no. And I voice noted, you know, I was pacing up outside Starbucks, then you messaged me back and I was like, right, okay, let's go try and get some more copywriting clients. And then it got to the point where, again, I was like, because this is like months later down the line now or whatever it was. And I was like, it's last chance now. I've got 30 days before my money runs out. I'm in shit creek here. But I knew at some point I said this to Suck about OFB. I was like, I knew at one point I'd get the chance to do calls. Whether you knew that or not, I knew at some point I was going to get a chance to jump on a call and either deliver some form of training with sales, maybe. So it wasn't that, but you'd get an insight and you'd get to see what.
I'm going to be honest, right? Like, if you've got somebody that's ready trained in sales that sat there that's gone, I've sold maybe not the same course, but like similar things to similar people. I've got a track record. You know the person that I used to work for and can get a recommendation from them. There's going to be a point where your one salesperson is going to run out of time and you'd be fucking stupid to turn around and be like, right, Debbie, you're going to be our new closer.
I will train you up from scratch type of thing. But because I'd seen from the growth as well, it was very, very obvious because I kept like conversations I was having with people. They're like, oh, I'm on. Well, it wasn't called Collective then. I'm working with Steve McGrath now. I'm working with Steve now. I'm working with Steve now. I was like, this was one of the reasons why I knew I had to change, because I wasn't going to be able to keep up mentoring myself, because people like yourself was going in that direction and building the team and doing all and then Collective happened. So I was like, I'm definitely going to get a shot here. But again, in 30 days time, when he was running out. So I just messaged her again, and luckily you, Shannon and Vicky were all going to Miami. So no one was going to be doing calls.
Yeah, and I was like, fucking hell, that's what it was, wasn't it?
I remember listening to the message of the voice note or whatever it was, and I was like, right, this is fucking it. But how quickly can I get on calls? And you were like, we'll get on a call soon. Whatever it was, soon. I was like, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, soon, that's fine. That's fine. And then another week went back, and I think I messaged her again. I was like, so, you know, let me know when you're ready to hop on. You're like, all right, cool, jump on a call tomorrow, whatever it was. And I was like, thank fuck for that. And my first call was 10 days away from when I mean my money was running out. This is emergency fund, savings, my fund for my tax bill, my self-assessment bill, and anything that was in my business account, it was going to go to zero, and I wouldn't have had any money to pay the bills. Like genuinely nothing, other than maybe pulling out credit cards and stuff again. But I got my first call with Adam Donaldson 10 days away from him when he ran out, and he paid in full. First call.
Good lad.
And he's smashing it as well.
He is actually doing
My next
really
one
well.
was Rob. My next call was Rob, who's now on the coaching team as well.
Was Rob your second call?
Second call.
Fucking hell.
CEO sign up. Nice one. And then the next one was Vicky said, oh, I don't have time to do this one. Can you do it? And it was Jasmine, CEO sign up. And I was like, I'm literally the best ever. and I had a really good month, and I earned the exact amount of money I needed to pay bills. You couldn't have timed it any more perfect. I needed to make £3,000. That's what I needed.
Yeah.
And that's I think I made £3,012 on commissions or something. And I was like, oh my God, I've just got to do it again now. But then we had back-to-back record months.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Because I kept trying to nudge that in the Slack group every time it was I was like, oh yeah, back-to-back since I've been here, just to sort of put it in there. But it was like, that's when I knew. I was like, you know what, this is going to be good now. I can breathe and just focus on actually selling the product, working with people and growing from there. So that's like a really long-winded way to get to this point when you ask that question. But yeah, it's a mad one. I've done everything, literally everything.
Why do you think it always comes back to sales?
Because I think it's the one thing that I really know I'm good at. And most of it was, I mean, to be honest, most of the best salespeople are self-taught anyway.
I was going to say, have you done any like official sales
sort of. So when I owned the gym, we did a few different like things, but it was always like sales was just like an extended module. Do you know what I mean? It was just there. I've done a bit through Sam Ovens' stuff, but that was when like Suck just gave me access to some bits.
Sam Ovens, the one that's doing SaaS stuff now.
I think he actually might be, yeah. But he's a big guy in America.
I know, the name rings a bell for sure.
It's nothing out of the ordinary or spectacular. Like it's nothing super tactical or whatever. But I started to listen to a lot of books on like I think it's Chris Vance, like FBI negotiation stuff. Yeah. And that sounds like I'm being really sort of ninja about how it's not. It's just the art of conversation.
Yes,
that is literally it. How to acknowledge certain things and what to do when people say certain things and how you need to be in certain situations and whatever. But a lot of it was just doing more calls, like
practicing
hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of calls. You only get better by doing more of them. And then the ability to teach that as well. So I think my sales improved when I was able to then start teaching people how to sell, because it made me have to look at what I was doing and saying, well, how can I apply that to ask you to then go and do that?
Yeah.
Is it more about, well, this is my style and how I do it? Or is that the golden rule? Well, it can't be the golden rule because no two people talk the same.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I mean? Like some people can just hold authority dramatically from the open, whereas others, it's almost like they have to build it through the core. So, just various different bits. But yeah, it always came back to sales because I knew I could make money, but I knew I was good at it. And I knew it was something that I could progress with as well. Mm-hmm. So that's the top and bottom of it probably.
Yeah. I mean, the progression can be pretty ludicrous, like if you get it right in sales.
Yeah.
It's just about finding, I think, the right opportunity and the right ticket price as well. Yeah. Like that's one of the things that I always tell coaches when they say like, oh, can I get someone to do my sales? I'm like, how much are you charging? And they're like 200 quid. And I'm like, no self-respecting salesperson will sell a £200 product. It's just not worth them getting on the phone for.
That was one of the issues.
What you're going to pay them? 20 quid?
Yeah, that's one of the issues we had with the agency stuff. Like, so loads of people...
You can't find enough people with the tickets that make it actually worthwhile.
To find a salesperson who'd get out of bed for it. Because I remember I got connected with a group in America and I was selling a program. I got offered a program that was $5,000. No one wanted it. They'd rather just not work, because they'd get $500 commission. What's that? Nothing to them. They didn't. If you want a genuinely good closer, they don't want to know. Especially in the US. But so in the UK, I had a problem with people would come to me. They've got like a 30-day trial for £99, and they run Facebook ads, and they want a closer. And I'm like, I'm going to eat all your profits. You're not going to have any money. I'll do it, but I need to find someone who's willing to take 25 quid. But I've got to make money on this as well.
Yeah.
So I need to increase your retainer. So this might cost you a few thousand a month. So I'm eating all of any profit you'll have on the front end. Are you happy? Are you okay with that? And they're like, oh yeah, I just hate sales. Okay, we'll see what we can do. And then it turns out the lead gen shite. So it's really hard to then
actually close
get sales. Yeah.
So then you've got somebody that needs paying that's taking 30 calls a week.
Yeah.
Closing 20% of them.
Yeah.
It is a funny one, but a lot of coaches, we probably don't advise getting a closer until you're in the 30 to 50K a month range, realistically, and your price point is in the minimum over £1,000.
Yeah.
And that's still lower end of the market.
Yeah.
Like realistically, you're probably going to be looking at more towards the 2K mark.
I'd say so, yeah, because on like a grand packet, let's say if it's £1,000 for 1,500 quid, even £2,000 for 90 days, you're probably not going to get a distinguished closer on that product.
No.
You're probably going to get someone that you're going to have to train up that might have some experience of some sort. Another online coach who feels like they're good at sales.
Yeah.
That's the type of person you're going to get. So it is tough. It's definitely one of the last things to outsource sales.
Yeah.
Even though I had an agency, I'd always say to people like, you might not want to do this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be like completely honest with you. It might not work for you.
Well, I remember like not naming names, but you told me like you've had some of the bigger names in the industry come to you to do sales, and when you said, right, this is the package and the price, and they've gone, oh,
yeah, they just
can't afford that.
Yeah, it's nuts. But that's the cost of sales, isn't it? If you want to outsource it, you're going to have to pay money because they're the ones that bring the money into the bank account at the end of the day. Yeah. So you're going to have to pay them quite nicely.
They're your two biggest outgoings for singular members of staff. Like sales are the biggest outgoings, but that's, like you said, it's a necessary part of business. And for most coaches, I would say that the most profitable way to keep running your business is to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Like keep doing the sales and you'll get that. Like coaches will be like, oh yeah, but I'd rather coach. Like I want to stay coaching with clients, etc. And it's one of those, I think you don't understand the level until you get to the level kind of thing. Because it's like sound, but you're going to have a much easier time finding a coach who loves coaching, who's willing to coach all your clients for a very reasonable part of your profit than you to go and get a good closer that's going to come in and be able to replace you. Because there is a dip. If it's not the business owner, the closer's got to be pretty good to make up that difference of the disappointment of somebody getting on the call and being like, oh, it's not Jane, the PT, it's this person. You've got to overcome that. Oh, it's the salesperson. Because you do get that.
It literally is that,
So they have to be decent or else your numbers are going to drop and then you're going to get eaten that way.
And just doesn't. PTs panic.
Yeah.
They panic because that's what we found again. So people be running Facebook ads to offers and yada, yada, yada. And then I'd get messages at 3 a.m. How many sales was it yesterday? It's like, geez, chill out. We've been doing this a week. Do you know what I mean? We've got to get people acclimatized. Like I promise results straight away, but give us a break. Like, so if the numbers aren't identical to what they did the month before in the first couple of weeks or whatever, they panic and then they go, well, we can't do this anymore. You've got to ease your way into it. But
I think that's somebody that's taken on sales too early.
Yeah, way too early.
Because realistically, like my company can't run with me doing sales. Like it can't happen.
No.
We do, I can't remember what the 27th of the month, I think we've done 110 calls or something this month.
Quite a few, yeah.
How am I going to do 110 hour-long calls? Not only that, but the follow-ups, the sorting out all the payment terms, the messaging them like the night before. Oh, how?
There's just and then if you were still had your fingers on that, you wouldn't be able to deliver what you actually deliver that then gets the people the results that they're looking for. That's the whole point. You know what I mean?
It would not work. And this is why like we sometimes get it where it's like, oh, is it not you on the call? And I'm like, I try and not be a dick about it because I get why they're asking. But like, it's one of those things where I have to be like, I'm really sorry, but we take on average 120 of these a month. Like I don't have 120 hours to do sales. And I'm not gonna belittle anyone's business. So like, I don't care whether you're doing 20 grand a month or you're doing 5 grand a month. You go through the same process. Like, I'm not going to say you're not as important as you are because you make more money.
Yeah, so you're worth me speaking to now.
Yeah, like I don't want to put people's worth on the amount of money that they make.
Yeah.
So we had a problem with it at first when we first did it, but then it kind of fell away. To be fair, after that, once people just got used to the fact that it weren't going to be me, and I think people get it now.
People call me Stu on the call anyway. They go,
people call me Stu.
Yeah, no, yeah. They go, I was speaking to Stu in the DMs, and he just said, book a call with Stu, and I'm like, yeah, sure.
Have you got that backwards?
yeah. I'll just be Steve for this, even though my Zoom says Stu, but that's fine.
It's only a letter difference.
Yeah,
but
let's just crack on.
You get it all the time.
But,
you get it all the time. But what were when you were running your kind of fitness businesses and stuff like that, what were the things that like, did you do anything particularly to like really get into sales? Were you always naturally good at it?
Well, my first proper experience of it. So I don't really count the face-to-face stuff because I feel like they definitely buy a lot off like your body language and your energy anyway. Like if they like you, they will just buy from you, from your induction or whatever it is. But so me and Gav, we just opened up the gym. We were about to open. We didn't have that many clients. We just brought our clients, and he snapped his leg in about 400 different places, and he was crippled.
Yeah.
Just like we couldn't leave the house, whether it was painkillers, couldn't move, couldn't drive to get there anyway. So I was like, right, I've got to run this place myself. So that was really difficult over the first few months, few weeks or whatever. And then he finally got back in, and then we got landed with a bill. We just forgot you paid rent and electricity bills and everything. So we needed to make a lot of money fast. We had a bill of about 7 or 8 grand or whatever it was. And we were doing about 2 grand a month, just under this little train station shelter. So back then, it was the day of the Wild Wild West on Facebook ads. You literally write anything you want and it would pass.
Approved.
Literally. So I'd stuck a bit of money.
Do you want to lose 400 pounds in 7 days?
Are you fat and miserable? Join up to this program. So the program we ran was called the Dark Knight Transformation. He used a picture.
Christian Bale.
Used a picture of, it would have been Christian Bale at the time, but the comic book one.
Yeah.
The comic book version. Where it was the blue and the black, the lightning through. It was fucking amazing. And it was like, are you fat, miserable, and want to lose 2 stone? Are you a man in Warrington? You know, that type of stuff. So, because I just paid for a course, it was to do with Facebook ads and growing your fitness business, blah, blah, blah. So I just learned bits from there, and I was like, I haven't really got time to go through all of this. It's from a guy who I don't even think's in the industry anymore. I think there's a bit of a scandal around him, so I'm not going to say his name. I'll tell you off air. And I just got loads of calls booked in, and I closed about 15K in contracts in 2 weeks.
Nice.
And I was like, again, I'm the best ever. Like no one in the world's ever done this. I'm the guy that's done it.
You do feel like a genius marketer when like you run something like that and you go, oh my God, the calls are coming in. And then you go, oh my God, they're actual leads.
Honestly,
they're closing.
It was crazy.
I'm magicking money out of nowhere.
This is it. I'm printing money, and it's going to happen every week now. This is just crazy. I'm going to be a millionaire. And but yeah, imagine nowadays putting up 2 Facebook ads to test against each other, them both being approved.
Smash it. Yeah.
They both get loads of leads through. You book all the calls in, everybody turns up, and then you close them all. Like, I think we charged
Holy Grail.
Yeah, I think we charged I think it was about 500 quid for 8 weeks. So it was not a bad price point. To be fair.
Not terrible.
It was something like that.
It's profitable anyway.
Yeah.
You make a lot of money.
We did, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm the best. And then we went through a proper dry spell and it went to shit. But we weren't very good at running a gym at that point.
Yeah, it's the back end of that process, isn't it?
To God, yeah. You should have seen the state of our gym. Gav will laugh about this as well, because it was underneath a train station bridge. The walls were plastic and they had holes in. Our gym flooring was basically black non-stick paint on concrete floor.
Nice.
That looked like gym mats, but it didn't, because everyone would slip. We had AstroTurf that wasn't glued down. We held it down with weights. And then we just had spare bumper plates to do stuff with. That was our gym to begin with. But yeah. And then we moved into a place 4 times the size with not 4 times the revenue. So we just guessed our way through it again.
Yeah.
Gav's still in that place now.
Is he really?
Yeah. He's actually doing well.
He's managed to turn it around.
Yeah, so I think he did a lot with Gym Owner.
Okay, yeah.
So systems, back ends, everything in place properly, had a proper function and everything.
Yeah.
So it's probably best that I walked away, to be fair.
Yeah. So you just kept going, just run the ads and let's make the sales and we'll figure it out
Let's just keep spending
later.
thousands on ads that don't work anymore because we haven't checked how it's all changed.
What do you feel about the industry's attitudes towards sales in general?
It's a weird one, because I think, again, back then it was very Americanized and it was very high pressure, close, high ticket, get people on a call, pressure them into a close, take no prisoners. I remember being on one program and someone told me, like, if you can see tears in their eyes, you've won. Which is a bit harsh. Bearing in mind we're talking about like
real people,
and you're like, forcing them to basically get into a point where they want to cry. And then it went really, really soft, like really soft.
Yeah,
it got to the point where it got incredibly soft.
That's where I really started in the business side of things, like the soft period.
And that's why I think you had that kind of polarization of, fine, there's that. But if you want to grow your business, you can go this way and have this type of attitude and look at it in this type of way. Because you see a lot of stuff around like, client-centered coaching, yada, yada. And that's fine. That's all well and good. It's perfect.
When you've got them.
Yeah. Like you shouldn't have to sell yourself. But these are all people that are saying that when they've got a good, big business.
Yeah.
If you've got no clients, you need to sell. You have to. Otherwise, you ain't getting any more clients. And that's just the harsh reality of it. You've got to, I don't care what anybody says, you need to learn the ability to sell, because you're a business owner and you need cash in the business. And the only way you do that is sometimes by getting somebody onto a call and, if need be, giving them a pretty big nudge to buy. If you know you can genuinely help them. We're not trying to scam people or like take the sale for the sake of it. But if they've come to you, applied for your program, saying that they want your help, okay, you're going to get my help then if you give me the opportunity to let you. Do you know what I mean? It's the same now. I'm not harsh or horrible with people, but if you're going to tell me certain things, then that's all I can go by.
Yeah.
So if that's all I can go by, I need you to tell me yes. Like, yeah, okay, we're going to go and do that then. Do you know what I mean? So as a whole, I think it was very harsh at one point. It got incredibly soft. And I feel like we're in a good place where there's a good middle ground, because we understand we're dealing with people. Yeah. But at the same time, you're a business owner, so you need to start acting like one. And
I think people are coming around to it more.
Yeah,
sure.
Definitely.
I genuinely feel like we've won a few battles over the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Like we've won a few battles with the high ticket stuff.
Yeah.
Again, because people got to points where they realize, sometimes we had to let people fall on the sword. We've had a lot of people come back and be like, oh yeah, I tried that low ticket stuff and it was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want to say I told you so, but like, we did literally tell you so.
Yeah.
And we've had, we went through you shouldn't be DMing people, it's sleazy and pushy. Yeah. That's now fallen by the wayside. And a lot of people have started to join that narrative of like, they've just called it something different so they don't look like twats. Yeah. But like, oh yeah, you need to create more conversation. I'm like, sorry, how are you doing that?
Yeah.
By inboxing people. Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, sure.
I assume that the fitness industry is clever enough to realize the massive U-turn that you've done on that. And I don't need to take up that because I'm assuming that everybody can see you gone back on your words. Yeah. But I think slowly again, if you do it in the right way, if you just keep doing things in the right way and prove its success over and over again, people will go, maybe there's a bit of merit in that.
The thing is though, I think a lot of the time, because during that soft phase, it was all about how like, we'll grow at some point. Your business will grow at some point.
That's the concern.
And I don't think people have the patience for it anymore because COVID happened and destroyed people's businesses, and you've got to rebuild from that. Now, cost of living, all these things that are going on, you haven't got time to have a 30 email nurturing process off the back of a lead, but you've never spoken to these people personally. You just let them download something on the internet, go through all these emails and all these sequences and all these. Fucking 3 months have passed and you've never had a conversation with them. But the open rate on your emails were great. Yeah, but they didn't buy.
Think that's the way the process generally goes for people, though, isn't it? Like and this is the narrative that we're trying to change. They come into the business world, right? And it's not natural to want to speak to people in their inbox. Outbound is not natural. Yeah. Sales for a lot of people is not natural. It's uncomfortable, which I appreciate. But when you get into the reality of the situation, it's one of those things that it would be fucking brilliant if we could sell via sending a PDF without messaging people. And everyone's sold off the back of that at first. We'll help you grow your business by not sending DMs and not having to do sales calls. But then the practicality of the outcomes of that never happened. Like nobody ever made any money.
Yeah.
They bought into the program. The people that were selling that made loads of money because they sold people a dream of, the classic, we're going to get you what you want without doing the things you don't want to do. Like, great, sign me up. But then the reality of those is like, what success stories come out of that? There might have been maybe one use case where somebody just had all the perfect things in alignment where it worked. But for 99% of the people that tried to do it that way, it fell flat on its face. Same with the content thing. Just post content, just post value. Sound, if you want to wait 3 years to start making a profit, if your content is naturally good enough to generate 50,000 plus followers, you might get enough inbound to run a business off. If you've got 50,000 followers and you need 30 people to have a solid business, cool, numbers in your favor there. If you don't have that, it's probably not going to work.
You're struggling. And it's mad because even on the whole content thing, like, with the work that say like Simon does, for example, you're going to get people that will say, well, what he does, no, you shouldn't do it that way. Like, you shouldn't post content, organic is dead and all that. But it's like, okay, probably because you're selling a program that's all about Facebook ads or automated this or automated that or whatever else. But again, even on the organic side of things, it's not like you're just posting a video and hoping for the best. There's the boring boxes you've got to tick as well to make that grow and whatever else. And the boring boxes, unfortunately, is lead gen, is content, is fulfillment, is doing these things to make sure that your business is growing. And that's not even anything groundbreaking in this unique industry. That's just basic principles in any business. Like,
exactly. And that's the thing that really boggled me. Like when I started speaking to people outside of the fitness industry and I got friends that run other businesses, they were like, yeah, mate, that's like commonplace. That's like digital marketing 101. Has no one ever taught you that? And I'm like, yo, the fitness industry doesn't know fuck all about this, by the way, because everyone's pretending that 90% of this doesn't exist and there's only one way of doing it. It's like, bro, like if you do digital marketing at university, right, your first term is like, this is how to speak to customers. This is how to do social media marketing. This is how to run paid advertisements. This is how to do all these basic principles. And if you do not understand all these 5 or 6 concepts, you cannot get out of your first term.
Literally.
But half of the fitness industry is like, all of that's useless. It's just this one way. If you don't, and if you don't do it this one way, you're evil.
Screwed, But we see it all the time. So there's a lot of people that we speak to that in that kind of 1 to 3K a month type scenario. And and they'll have been a part of different programs, and they might not necessarily have anything bad to say, because we don't just sit there and talk smack about like a load of other people. But it's like, I've been a part of this program, I was a part of it for 10 months, and I think I gained 4 or 5 clients, and it's like, Christ, what the hell are you doing during that time?
Yeah.
Or posting content, okay, trying to get leads. Okay, what are you doing for the leads? Posting content in my stories and that, and it's like, okay, did you DM anyone? No, I think it's a bit sleazy. Right. Okay. So you got 4 or 5 clients in 10 months. Did you never think after like a month that you might need to switch something up?
Who told you it was sleazy? Because someone's put that in your head, right?
It's belief systems again.
But that's why, we try and not put like limits on it. So like one of the things that we've done with the rebuild of the course is we've put paid advertising into the basic modules.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, do I think most coaches need paid advertising?
No.
Do I fuck?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, there'll be a percentage of them that go, I've got all of this stuff on lock. I've got 1,000 followers. Size content stuff's great, but it does take some time.
Yeah.
Sometimes, like you can't. It's not down to a perfect art. They might go, listen, to keep growing, I'm gonna need more leads. Everything else works. Lead gen's working. My sales are working. I'm coaching people well. Cool. Have you got your referral stuff? Yeah, my referral stuff's working, but I've not got loads of clients to really kick that referral. Like, my numbers are all right, but there's not enough going in the top end to come out the bottom. We might do some paid.
Yeah.
So I'd at least want them to have the opportunity to access that when it's needed. Now, the thing that we need to do is teach them when that's applicable and when it's not.
And then it's not a magic button.
And it's not a magic button, but for some people, it is something that they may want to look at at certain points in certain circumstances. In the same way as you might not need to do outbound. If you've got a massive account, and you've got, you're selling a ticket for $2,000, run paid, and just deal with those leads.
Bring it in,
If you've got if you're brilliant on video, if you can create a VSL that is really engaging, or you're brilliant at making lead magnets, you understand your target market, you've got some money behind you, and you've got a bit of a killer in your DMs that's like, don't let me say hello to people that come onto your Instagram. I want to book these calls in. Don't do outbound.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you have to do everything at one point. And it's the same with like, there will be processes that some people grow into in the business where sales won't be needed.
Yeah.
If you can write a brilliant sales page and you've got a massive level of authority, you've got a low ticket program, why would you do sales?
No, definitely.
But for the majority of coaches when they're starting out, especially in the first year, especially to their first, 50 to 100K.
Yeah.
The simplest and easiest way of getting there is, content, conversation, call, coach them.
It's like, so you're relying on skills that you can control. So having a conversation, so creating content, you can control what content you create. It's not hard to figure out and discover what kind of content. Not that it's not hard, but it's simple to discover which content will hit the right market, for your market.
But it's also a baseline concept, right?
Yeah, you've got to do it regardless.
New thing comes out, like, LinkedIn's a place to be. Okay, cool. I understand the basics of making content for my audience. I can do it on there.
Yeah.
Just need to know what format to do it in.
Yeah.
But as long as I understand the basic principles of what to say, how to say it, how to get people to engage with it.
Same with the DMs. You don't have to be. I know there's a skill to acquire of it, but again, it's a skill you can control. The same with sales, you can control that skill. If you want to rely on people solely coming to you and only coming to you, you're now going to have to rely on copywriting, which is a skill you can control, but it's in the sense that you need to make sure that that's absolutely tip top so that the consumer will move to the next step.
I think it's more difficult.
It's way more difficult.
I think copywriting for people who end up in the fitness industry, realistically, like looking at the scope of them, not generally writers.
No.
Like,
I wouldn't say so.
They're not, it's not generally, they don't love writing. They like writing and some of them get really into it. But like high level copywriting skill usually comes from some sort of like literature background.
Yeah, definitely. Or they're just an outlier who only did written content or would seem to be very good at written content or had a knack for that type of thing. But I'd much rather get someone into a DM, onto a call so I can have the conversation than rely on a sales page, for example. Because I don't know, I know you can check all the numbers and the conversions or whatever else, but if someone goes to my page, I don't know if they're going to.
I think it's definitely a more difficult skill to get good at because you get less chances to practice it.
Yeah.
You can get on 5 sales calls a day.
Easy.
You can do 5 sales role plays a day.
Yeah, you
can get better at it faster. And I think copywriting is a skill, but I would still put it in those fundamental basic business skills that you should know. Whether you use it throughout your whole career is a different matter.
For sure.
But like writing content for your target market, being able to, create a good product, be able to sell on the phone, be able to sell in text.
Yeah.
You should be able to do both.
Definitely.
In the same way, probably an off-topic question, but like, when people like have this argument about taking monthly payments or paying in full, as a conscientious business owner, you should be able to do both, because you will potentially be in situations in your career where you have opportunities that need a big injection of cash. And you might go, what would really make a difference between us being able to take the opportunity or missing it? Me getting the next 3 payments in full up front. Does it mean that you only take upfront payments? Absolutely not. But no. Like you with the bill coming in at sales, if you could have gone, right, that's 15K contracted. I could do with about 5K up front though.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. Like literally. And I think that's what sales gives you. And I've said this a lot previously, when I was doing certain things or conversations that I've had, like, because I understand how to sell, I'll always back myself to get myself out of a situation because I can sell. So I knew I'd get to a point where I'd make the money I needed to pay my bill, because one, I didn't have any other option, but I know how to sell. So I just needed an opportunity. So I go and create my opportunity. I'm selling myself to get the opportunities to sell as well. Do you know what I mean? Not that I want to keep getting myself out of situations, obviously, but I just know that I can. So if you're a fitness business owner with a good ability to sell, then if you come into an issue, all you've got to do is make sure that, okay, well, if I'm previously sending 5 DMs a day, make that 30.
Yeah.
Because I know I can sell. So I need to get more people on a call. And if I can take paid in full, give them a bit of a discount. You have to, who cares? Like, if you're in a sticky situation, do what you need to do, get the paid in full option, move on to the next one, get another paid in full option. When you've got the cash injection, then decide whether you need to go into monthlies or not. But we get those questions on calls. Are you someone who believes you have to do paid in full or monthly?
Do you get that?
Yeah, people do ask sometimes. And it's like, I like both.
Yeah.
Because I like to know what I'm getting paid month after month, but I also like a little bit of a bump in case I need to invest in a course, if I need to pay a tax bill because I've spent all you know what I mean? Like little things like that. Like they're both good. If someone wants to pay you.
That's news to me. I didn't know people asked you that.
People do ask, yeah. They do. Very, very rarely.
Yeah.
But they do ask. It depends what program they come from.
Yeah, for sure.
Or what type of training they've done in the past.
Or what content that they've been watching.
Yeah, what content they've been watching. Yeah. Why would you turn down someone to pay monthly? Or why would you turn someone down?
I think that kind of thought process just builds weak business owners.
Yeah.
It builds weak business owners that are like, I'll only do this. And I'm like, what if that isn't going to make you successful? And it's not like any of these tactics, none of these tactics are wrong. If you apply them all in the right manner and you come from the right place, they are all useful things.
Yeah.
So are you that set on that you will sacrifice your own success for that? Most of the time it's no.
Yeah.
It's just, for some reason, I've just decided that this is a moral high ground. And what it really is I don't quite feel comfortable doing that. So I'm going to pretend it's wrong, because then I don't feel as bad about not doing it.
Yeah. I think a lot of them on the monthly one, they get scared that the clients leave. But that doesn't usually come down to a sales issue. That comes down to delivery issues. So it's tightening that thing up as well. Selling the whole, it's £150 a month, minimum term, 3 months, no contract.
I think people do that because it's easier, or it's perceived to be easier.
They're doing it from the point of view of the customer.
Yeah.
They're making it easier for the customer, but that's not what your program's about.
I don't think they're doing that. I think they're making it easier for themselves. I think they're worried about the challenge of like having
the objection.
Yeah, they're they're worried about handling the objection, and they don't realize if they go, it's what they're actually worried about is telling them the whole number.
The big number.
Like in truth, but like you should back your own price point. Like I'll back our price point to the hills and say, you pay us that money, you'll get it 10 times over. Absolutely, like no doubt. I think we're too cheap. To be fair,
you look at, because I have to do this all the time, because people will go, so what can I expect in the first couple of months or the first whatever? And I'm like, I always roll my eyes. I'm like, right, I can't tell you that this is typical, because it isn't, but they just keep happening over and over again. Take Tyler, for example, went from this to this in 30 days. Take Jasmine, who did this. Take this, who did this. And it's all stupid numbers in like really short. And we've got lots of big ones in like 12 months as well, which I think really stands out for a lot of people. But it's like, what do you expect to do in 2 months then? Like, what can you expect to back yourself to do? Because as we run you through all the ins and outs, like, we kind of put you in a position where you've got no choice to, other than to grow your business. You'd actually have to be going out of your way to screw it up because of everything that we've got in place. So what will you achieve? Like, what are you expecting to achieve? Like, it all comes down to that. But yeah, it's always the whole thing of, well, these results aren't typical.
That's because you're legally not allowed to say that.
You're not going to do 10K in a month, but here's 4 people that have done it. There's another 5.
Here's a list of examples. Take from that what you will. I can't physically tell you what you're going to make because I can't make promises like that, and I'm legally not allowed to. Or else it becomes a fucking MLM scheme. But these are people that have been through our program, started in a similar position, and put a similar amount of time in it to you. Where do you think you sit on that?
Where do you sit, even like, if you did 50...
Even if you're bang in the middle, you're bang average, this is what they do. Even if you're on the lower quartile...
You've done well.
Like, the money's still there.
You've done well.
Like,
really well. But that's the thing. That again, that comes back to when I was looking at, I'm going to have to make a decision because of what some of the bigger boys are doing and whatever else. I was getting good results. Like, there was people that were growing. There was some people that weren't. And I didn't know how to get over those sticking points because I don't think I had enough knowledge in certain aspects to do those things. So I wanted to start bringing people in who were the experts in those areas. But then you have to start thinking, I've got enough turnover to pay them.
Are you willing to?
Am I willing to spend that money to pay?
That step.
And I think a lot of people aren't willing to do that.
No, absolutely not.
So yeah, and then that's the kind of, I can't remember what the point was that I was saying about that, but it just comes back to the speed of growth that some people can have. You either have things in place to make it happen, or you kind of decide that you don't. It's a nice to have, but you don't want to do it really.
I know. I just think people put too much. They put too much of their own personal money issues, I think, into, or their own even just personal sales issues, or their own personality. Like, I don't want to do that because I wouldn't like it, and I'm like, it's not about you.
At some point, you've got to realize that. Like, the business itself doesn't care. Your mortgage doesn't care. Your food bills don't care. Your energy bills don't care.
But the principles of business don't care about what you want to do as well. Like,
there's certain things you just have to do.
It would be nice if you could build a career basically, and we're not talking about like making $1,000 a month or £1,500 a month. We're talking about making very, very, very good salaries. Doctors probably don't like the amount of paperwork they do. Lawyers again probably don't like the amount of paper. Lots of high paying jobs have elements of it that you would rather not do if you could get away with it. But it's not a fairy tale. Like, no. You still get to basically spend most of your time in shorts.
Yeah.
Like,
going to the gym. That's it.
It's
like
the very, very small parts of like, I feel like it's just generally, they aren't educated on this is why this works. This is why you're doing this. This is this is where it works in other businesses. This is examples of where this has happened to you before. This is examples of where other like bigger companies, very reputable companies use this to purchase. That one of the reasons of the branding is to be able to be like, this is what large companies, is what proper companies do across the board, not just in fitness. And instead of it being, my racy program of how to make enough money to buy a Lambo, where people are like, oh yeah, it's all about this and it's all about that. And it's like, it's not, it's just about growing a business.
Yeah.
Do with your fucking money what you want. Go on holiday, give it to charity for all that. Like, do it. Like, do all of that shit. But if you want, stability over the course of your career, you're gonna have to learn all these concepts.
I think a lot of them, it's a case of you need to. There comes a point where you've got to make that transition in your own mind of, have I got a hobby that brings me in some money, or do I actually want to build a genuine business?
Yeah,
and that's where the difference comes. And we've had the conversation on some of our calls before. It's that kind of conversation again of the difference between earning 6 figures and then having the mindset of wanting to push towards 7 figures. So, for example, you'd happily do 10, 12, 15-hour days. there's a reason why the business is doing what it's doing. Because if you said, you know what, I'll finish at 3 or 4, none of us would be here. Do you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be. So that was another thing I was looking at. Do I want to be doing 15 hours a day? I'm not that guy to do that and then lead the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? And I think people need to understand that there's different mindset shifts at different part of your business. And a lot of people are in that first transitionary period of, you need to get to grips with, do I want this to be an actual business? So I need to start treating it like one, or is it actually a hobby that I get paid money for?
If it's a hobby, you can pick. You can pick and choose, because you only need about 10 clients anyway, and you just got a job on the side or whatever. It brings in a bit of side income. Cool. Probably don't need to do the things that you don't quite like.
No, you don't.
You can take the time, do it your own way. It's cool. Everything will get you a bit of money. But if you want a solid, like, I can count on this money coming in every single month to pay these bills, to go on this holiday, to have a car, to all of this stuff. Unfortunately, you're just going to have to, there's a load of boxes that you need to tick. And you're just going to have to tick those boxes. And our job is to teach you how to tick those boxes in the most efficient way possible. What my job is not, is to kick out half the boxes and be like, I don't like that.
Let's not do that.
Shit that.
Well, we get, in terms of box ticking, so we speak to a lot of guys, and obviously girls, who either prep coaches or they go through prep themselves. And I always make that analogy of, like, this is going to be like you trying to go on stage. You don't want to do your cardio at 5 a.m. You don't want to have that other meal. You don't want to eat that thing. You don't want to lower your calories. You don't want to do that training session. You don't get stage lean by one neat trick, by this new bicep workout or this indestructible chest workout, blah, blah. That's not how you got on stage. You got on stage by ticking the boring boxes that you probably didn't want to do. That's exactly what you're going to have to do with your business. You're going to have to tick boxes, unfortunately, that you're going to have to tick whether you like it or not, because that's what's actually going to get you there. So it comes down to that mindset shift. Some people want to do that, and some people it's a nice to have. It's a nice idea, especially when people start talking about, I want to build a brand, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to build this big thing. DMing, sales calls.
Apart from that,
I'm not sure. Oh, but you're gonna have a team of coaches underneath you. You better go get them leads. You better get them leads. You better get them clients, because they're going to come to you and say, where's my paycheck? So you need to question yourself as to whether you want the smoke or not, like you said before.
And whether you're willing to, not like, you're not allowed prejudice when you're trying to grow a business that size. You've got to go, you're allowed values, but you're not allowed prejudice. So you can go, I will do this to a point. This is the point that I think, like, my values align with, but you can't set ridiculous values. Like, I only ever want people to reach out to me, or I only ever want to do it this way. You've got to live in the real world. You can be like, I'll do it in this format. Like, I'll only ever push people to a certain point. If somebody says this, then I'll decide that I don't want to speak to them anymore. Cool. You can have all of those, like, kind of limits in there, but you can't just disregard the whole thing because it feels uncomfortable to you.
Definitely. And that's another one with sales. A question we used to ask all the time was, how hard am I allowed to push these leads? Because some people would be like, I don't care. Do your worst type of thing when it comes to, like, handling objections or whatever. So we're like, okay, I can do that if you want. But some people are like, okay, I want to get them to a point. If they're really showing objections, I don't want them as a client. Okay, cool. We'll get to this point and we'll say that's the line drawn type of thing.
I think for me, like, objection handling comes down to, like, just, you've got to tick a few boxes first. And then it just gives you open season. Basically, it's like, do you really need this help? Do you want our help? Like, particularly is it us? So, do you need this help? Like, is growing your business a massive priority for you? Yes. Is working with us your preferred option? Would you prefer to work with us over other programs, or doing it yourself? Yes, I would much rather work with you than work with someone else. Tick. Okay. At that point, do what you need to do. Because I also know that are you willing to do the work that's needed within the program? Are you happy with the kind of functionality and what the process is? Yes. You tick those 3 boxes. I'm happy for you to do anything to get on the program. I'm happy for anything, because they've said they really need our help. They're willing to do the work, and they want to work with us over other people. If they don't answer to those 3 things, sound. Because that's at least a real objection.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, actually, no, I would rather work with X.
Yeah. I'm speaking to other people. Or
go do it.
Yeah,
sound. I'm not quite sure. Like I've got my other business model that I would like to explore first. Cool. I'm not here to convince you about any of those three things. I'm here to tell you about those things. If you agree that that's the right way for you, the marketing's there to convince you about those three things. By the time you're in a sales process, we don't have to do that. You've been able to make that choice yourself with zero pressure.
Yeah.
Over time,
you filled out the app.
But when you're in that hour, if those three boxes get ticked, and I know some people get really funny about this, but whether it's taking out credit, whether it's being resourceful with your finances, taking stuff out of a house deposit, taking stuff out of your savings, I know that if you want to do the program, you want to do it with us, and you agree to do the work, and you're happy with the format that we do it in, we never end up with people that aren't successful. It literally doesn't happen.
No.
It only ever happens if it's one of those three things that are the issue. Like they don't like the way that it runs, or like the model's not quite right for them, or they're not quite sure that we're the right person. That's when issues arise. They tick all three of those boxes, nobody's in any danger.
No. And I think on the side of the whole taking out credit thing and doing what we can to get people to sign up, like, I know this is probably another sensitive little thing, and I'm sure people will hear this snippet and run away with it in their own sort of way about how scummy it is, blah, blah, blah. But then at the end of the day, like, a lot of the people, I don't know ins and outs of everybody on the team, but no one on the team's come from like money.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where they could just pull a wad of cash out of the back pocket and get sorted. We're all from backgrounds where like you've had to work, you've had to do these things.
Everything's on credit.
Everything's on credit. Like
life's
literally,
on
you know
credit.
what I mean? And so that's why like sometimes it's not that I don't have sympathy, because I think quite a few people get into really sticky situations and they can't get credit, or like they love to, but they can't.
That's the credit agencies. That's why instead of going, oh, well, actually, like, go get a loan from wherever, where they'll give you, like, just go to a normal credit card company. They will do their due diligence on that person, whether they can afford to pay that credit back.
Yeah.
There's a whole fucking financial ombudsman whose sole job it is to make sure that credit goes to the right people that need it, that can afford it. I am not the Messiah. Who am I to tell? Who am I to look at someone's financial situation and tell them whether they can do it or not? That's what credit checks are for. Most of the people that don't like it, though, live in a country where that isn't a thing,
pretty
isn't
much.
it? So it doesn't matter.
But it's like
they can't get credit, so they can't offer credit because no one would fucking give credit to a company that's based overseas.
But it's like can't
get credit if you don't pay tax because you don't have much money.
There is that, there is that. But it's like I know it's nerve wracking to take out credit sometimes, but it's actually the smartest thing to do. Like we said on the call,
you get the protection
and you're spending like the bank's money at that point. You're not spending your own cash. It gives you time to make that money back without any repercussions, rather than just taking it out your back pocket because you scraped it together or borrowing it off family, and then there's awkward
Well, we've said that before, isn't it? If someone has like a couple of grand sat in the pot there and they want to pay for something that's a couple of grand, it makes more sense to pay it on the credit card, have an interest-free period, and then make it back.
I pay for everything on my credit card.
I do.
All my as many bills as I can, and food shopping, like daily spending, all goes on a credit card because I can budget and I know how much I've spent. But even if it comes to invest in something, so even in the business account now, I use a business credit card if I have to buy something because I can just pay it off.
If your bank transfer for it and it doesn't come through, you fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like it's just one of those things. I don't think,
and that's why we offer it, because we've got the stability within our back end, within our like HR department and our customer service department to be like, this is what you get. This is your rights. This is what we'll give you as the program. Like it's all completely like signed off and tied in. Whereas people that whinge about it generally don't have those systems.
But as well, like 10 clients covers it.
Covers the whole year.
Do you know what I mean? And it's at that point where it's like, and I've put this to some people as well, in the sense that based on everything that I've just shown you, if you don't actually back yourself to get 10 clients, then you might want to consider the business that you've got, because if you can't back yourself to get 10 clients with a tiny bit of help, it's gonna be a long road to, you know what I mean? And you're getting all of this kind of stuff provided, so you've really got to back yourself. And if you back yourself, take a bit of credit. And you're able to do so, take credit when you can. Like literally take it. If they're gonna give you it, take it.
Well, then obviously, I just always come back to the protection. Like we've got to say, you get this. If we don't give you that, your credit card company will be like,
we're having it. We're taking
That's
it back.
back.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, it's always going to be a tricky subject to talk with some people, and especially when they hear this, and they'll take it in their own way, and they'll say, "Oh, well, he's telling people to get credit." I'm not telling anybody to do anything, but it's a good idea to do so if you really want to grow your business and you don't have the ability to grow it on your own. You're going to need help. You're going to have to invest at some point. So if you know that such and such is the right thing to do what you can, do everything you need to, because there's so many stories where some people go, I had nothing, I had no money, I paid for it, and now look where
I
I'm.
I wouldn't say it unless we had like a fucking portfolio of people that put it on credit.
If it was the first week of trading,
stupid. Like Tom put his on a credit card, he makes 25 grand a month now, and that just maybe not 25 grand a month, but like it happens repeatedly. So like, who am I to be like, listen, all of these people did this. Most other programs don't have those stories to be able to tell, which is that's the problem.
They don't have the 12. Well, they don't have 6-month ones, 9-month ones, or 12-month ones either. So it looks more of a flash in the pan at that point.
I wouldn't say it because I'm not that bitter, but like I get the reason. Like if I couldn't offer my clients credit and was hedging my bets on this is the kind of client that I want. I want the ones that are disillusioned, and I want the ones that are, fearful and stuff like that, then that's exactly how I would market, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't make you a bad person.
No, it doesn't.
You're all right, Stu. Don't worry about it.
It definitely doesn't.
You've been absolved. That's everything. You don't even post any content anymore, do you?
Not anymore, no.
We're going to take over Stu's Instagram account soon anyway. So Stu,
is it really?
Stu is going to be FBU Stu. That's going to be your name.
That'll be fine by me.
Not quite like that.
Because I've got nothing to like personally post content about, so I just don't. But if I, give me a reason,
we're going to take over Stu's account. So I'm not going to say what Stu's Instagram account is because it may be subject to change over the next few weeks.
Just make me an influencer. That's fine.
But if you want to speak to Stu, get on a call.